Dragon Ball Daima has left us with a long list of questions. So today I came up with a list of 21 of these questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer them or at the very least discuss them. So let's get into it. Hey guys, my name is Tony. If you like Dragon Ball and anime, make sure to show me some support because I've got more videos coming. Hit the subscribe button, like, and comment. I would greatly appreciate that. Let's get into it. Number 1. How do you go about applying for a pin code for Warp Sama? So, this is actually surprisingly confusing. So, in episode 1, Degesu says that you have to go through a procedure. And then in episode 3, Glorio says that you have to apply beforehand. That seems pretty straightforward. However, we never find out who is approving or declining these applications. It's not the Demon King because, well, for one, King Gomah doesn't seem to know what the pin code is. I'm sure he's aware of the concept of the pin code, but he doesn't know what the actual pin code is. Degesu is the one that says the pin code to Warp Sama. But here's the real thing that gets me. Because Adin goes to Earth during the events of the Buu Saga. She needed a pin code, so she needed to apply and get approval for that pin code. However, King Dabura wasn't in the demon realm when she left to go to Earth. So again, we have another piece of evidence that shows that it's not the Demon King who's approving or declining these pin codes. So where did she get the pin code from? We don't know, and we don't know how this whole system works of the pin code. It's surprisingly confusing, even though, like, on the surface it seems like, oh, they just apply for it. But look, who? We never see, like, the government office. I guess there's somebody that's stamping these applications and handing out these pin codes. Number 2, what was Degesu's wish? In episode 1, Degesu has that line where he asks King Gomah if he can have one of the wishes that are from the 3 wishes of the Earth Dragon Balls, right? And then King Gomah seems like he doesn't want to give him the wish, but he says, I'll think about it, something like that, right? But, of course, they don't get the 3 wishes. They only get 1 wish. So we never end up finding out what Degesu actually wanted to wish for. Number 3, where was Gohan? I'm not going to talk too much about this because everybody's talked about this. Yeah, we don't know where Gohan was. We don't know what happened to him. Was he a kid? Was he a baby? All we got related to Gohan in Dragon Ball Daima was that scene in episode 1 where Shin asks Goku where Gohan is and Goku says he's studying. That's it. We don't know why he wasn't shown. Does that mean that something special was going on with Gohan? Probably not. I figured they just didn't want to show him for whatever reason. Number 4 is Mr. Popo from the Demon Realm. So one of the things that we found out in Dragon Ball Daima is that most characters with pointy ears are originally from the Demon Realm or have descended from creatures that came from the Demon Realm. And Mr. Popo has pointy ears. So that begs the question, is he actually from the Demon Realm? That would be really interesting. Is there a whole race of Mr. Popos? There's other characters with pointy ears, right? For example, Dodoria. Is he from the Demon Realm? We don't know. Maybe we'll start to get some answers in the future, but I think many of us are very curious about this. Number 5, what is Glorio and Arinsu's backstory? I've talked about this a lot. I'm not going to go too deep into this, but basically, we don't know anything about why Arinsu rescued Glorio. What was Glorio's original situation before she rescued him? Why does he feel so indebted to her? I think if we would have found this out, that whole story with Glorio and Arinsu and all that kind of concludes at the end of Dragon Ball Daima would have been so much better. Number 6, who was the guy with the big gun that fought Tamagami number 3 20 years prior to the events of Dragon Ball Daima? Just in case you don't remember, in the episode before the fight between Goku and Tamagami number 3, right at the end, there's a scene where this shop owner, kind of eatery owner, says that there was somebody that showed up with a big gun around 20 years before, that present time, and tried to fight Tamagami number 3, but got defeated instantly. I saw somebody in my comments in a different video say that they thought it might be Glorio because Glorio had the big gun, right? Glorio has a gun, he has a gun. Maybe at the time he had a different gun. We don't know. I think that's an interesting theory, but we don't have any concrete evidence to back that up. That's just pure speculation. And ultimately, this line seems to be more of, let's just say, like a way to intimidate the characters, just to say, like, hey, Tamagami number 3, you shouldn't take him very lightly. And I don't think this is anything all that relevant to the story, but who knows? Maybe later on down the line we find out that actually this was a really important character. Number 7. Why is Tamagami number 3 so friendly to Goku? If you remember, after Goku defeats Tamagami number 3, they leave, right? They're leaving on their airship, Glorio and Pansy and Goku. And Tamagami number 3 is like waving at them and he's saying, good luck and do your best. He's saying like, gambatte or gambare, like one of those lines. I'd have to rewatch it. Sorry, I didn't rewatch it. But basically that's what he's saying. That's kind of strange when you compare him to Tamagami number 1 and number 2, who seem less friendly. They seem more determined to not lose their Dragon Ball. They don't help in any way, like afterwards, they're not friendly. I mean, Tamagami number 1 does end up helping in the fight against King Gomah, but that's only after Neva says like, hey, go help out, go help out. So it kind of comes off as strange, in my opinion, that Tamagami number 3 is rooting for Goku to get the other Dragon Balls when he's not supposed to be doing that. But for some reason, Tamagami number 3 is like abnormally friendly. Any ideas? I have no clue. Number 8. Why aren't there any more Cybermen in the Demon Realm? So one of the big bombs that Dragon Ball Daima dropped was that the Cybermen were originally from the Demon Realm. But now apparently there's no more Cybermen seeds, so that's interesting. And I'm totally okay with Cybermen being from the Demon Realm. It's just I wonder why there's no more seeds coming from the Demon Realm. Number 9. Who was the Majin that Arinsu defeated? If you remember in episode 8, Marba and Arinsu are talking, and then Arinsu says that she had defeated the previous Majin that they created because that Majin was so weak. I had speculated for a while that that might be Glorio, but we never got any indication that that was the case. In fact, I would say that Arinsu saying that she saved Glorio seems to imply that no, he wasn't the Majin that they created. So apparently there was another Majin, not Majinku, not Majindu, Majin Au or something. I don't know. That is maybe dead now, that I guess Arinsu killed, exterminated because it was so weak. We have no idea. That plot thread is never resolved. Number 10. What's up with Raimusu? We need a whole lot more information about Raimusu to really understand what's going on there. All we know is that Raimusu created the universes outside of the Demon Realm. He's a super Majin, and he kind of looks like Zen-O, so there's clearly a connection there. We don't know exactly what that connection is yet. He's the highest ranking individual or entity, I guess, in the Dragon Ball universe. But what does that mean in relation to Zen-O? Like, we don't really know. I was expecting to see him not just in a still image, like in this explanation that we got from Shin, but actually he might show up, but we didn't get that. So that part of the Dragon Ball cosmos will remain a mystery until they decide to tell us more about him. Number 11. What is King Gomah doing with the life force of the inhabitants of the third Demon Realm? First of all, thank you so much to Okami Kuranya. He is a viewer of this channel and left a very good comment with a bunch of questions, and this was one of them, so he inspired this entire video. So again, thank you to Okami Kuranya. Now, just in case you forgot, there's that scene in the third Demon Realm right before Goku, Glorio, and Shin meet Pansy for the first time, where the military police are collecting basically taxes for King Gomah, and as punishment, they threaten to take years of life from these third Demon Realm inhabitants if they don't pay up. But we never find out what is being done with this life force, right? Is this life force being bottled up and then taken to King Gomah so that he can live forever? I mean, that seems like a reasonable assumption, but we don't know that for sure. Number 12. Does Pansy become the queen of the third Demon Realm? So, of course, King Kadan becomes one of King Ku's daijin, or his ministers, at the end of Dragon Ball Daima. But we don't know what happens to the vacancy that opens up as king of the third Demon Realm. Could it be that Pansy takes over? Yeah, that seems like a reasonable assumption. Or maybe it's Hybis and he becomes King Hybis. Number 13. What happened to the fusion bug? So this is something that a lot of people have talked about, including myself, and it's a little bit irritating because that was not resolved. The fusion bug disappeared in the middle of the battle with King Gomah, and we don't know where it went. Also, we don't know what would have happened if both Vegeta and Goku had eaten it. Would we have gotten a new transformation? No idea, although that seems logical. It would be more surprising for us to get just Gogeta or Vegito by the fusion bug, right? Because presumably that doesn't work the exact same way, so it only makes sense that you would get a new transformation, but we don't know. Number 14. Why would King Abuda ever take the third demon eye off? It doesn't make sense. Why? Because King Gomah uses the third eye and we don't see any negative effects on him. He just becomes infinitely powerful and has infinite stamina, but he seems to be himself. So if that's the case, then why would King Abuda ever risk it? Why would he ever take that off? It doesn't make any sense as it is presented. Number 15. Why didn't King Abuda or the previous Demon Kings use the third eye to defeat the Tamagami and collect the Dragon Balls? So this also seems like a bit of a strange thing, right? Because we saw the Demon Eye is incredibly powerful. Basically, you become unbeatable, right? Because you are never going to get tired and you seem to get stronger and stronger and stronger as needed. So yeah, Gomah should have been able to defeat the Tamagami, and basically anybody else that uses the third eye should have been able to defeat the Tamagami. Now, if I try to answer this, my best attempt would be that it's not simply about strength, because we saw, for example, with Tamagami number 1, there was that crazy numbers thing. In Tamagami number 2, there was also the word problem and all that. So even if you are incredibly strong, that doesn't mean that you can get the Dragon Balls from the Tamagami. So maybe that's the answer. Number 16. How do you obtain Super Saiyan 4? I've talked about this. Many people have talked about this. This is one of the biggest lingering questions in all of Dragon Ball Daima, because at first it seems like Neba is the one that unlocks it within Goku, but then later on, Goku implies that he was training and possibly was aware of Super Saiyan 4 and maybe even had achieved it prior to the events of Daima, although that is not 100% confirmed. It's rather ambiguous. So this is just really frustrating, because it seems like Toei is trying to have their cake and eat it too, saying like, yeah, Goku trained, but actually it was Neba, but actually it was Goku training, but actually it was Neba. We don't know. It's very frustrating, and I can only hope that we're going to get some clarity down the line. Number 17. Why was shutting down Warp Sama such a difficult thing for Degesu to do? You may remember that scene that came after King Gomah orders Degesu to shut down Warp Sama so that Goku and the gang can't make it to the first demon realm. And that scene is very strange, because it hints at so much more than ends up happening. Degesu seems really reluctant to shut down Warp Sama. It seems like it's this horrible thing that should never be done. And, well, he does it, but then nothing ever comes from that. Like, it's not like we get any explanation about why he seemed to be so distressed about that. Is there some rule? Is there some punishment? I don't know. This is extremely frustrating, but and I suspect that we're not even going to get any resolution on this. Number 18. Was Warp Sama reactivated at the end of Dragon Ball Daima? This is not shown or stated in any way, so we can't say for sure, but it seems like yes. However, it may have been reactivated without a pin number requirement. And we know that this is possible because Shin used Warp Sama when he fled the Demon Realm, but he didn't know about the pin number, which says that there was a time when you could use Warp Sama to travel in between the Demon Realm and the Outer Realms, right? But you didn't need a pin number, right? That is back before everything shut down and you know, you could travel freely in between the realms. So it seems that Warp Sama was, yes, reactivated, but possibly there's no more pin code anymore. Number 19. Why were the guns that the military police used against Goku and the gang so effective? I'm sure you remember, but in the first Demon Realm, Goku and the gang have to fight against a whole bunch of military police before they make their way to King Gomah's palace. The guns used by the military police are surprisingly effective against Goku and Vegeta and Piccolo and all of them. Why? We never get any explanation. It's kind of weird because it almost seems like those guns were more effective against Goku and the gang than even King Gomah was. But I guess it's just because magic! Number 20. What's with all the potato chip eating? There's multiple characters shown eating potato chips throughout Dragon Ball Daima. As far as I was able to notice, there's Hybis, there's the fake Ginyu Squad guys, there's Goku, and then there's Pansy. So I'm going to go one by one. The first time we see a character eating potato chip, as far as I'm aware, is in that scene where Vegeta beats up those thieves that stole the airship that they were using in the third demon realm. And while Vegeta is beating up those thugs, Hybis goes to eat some potato chips, and then I think he gets one, or maybe not even one, and then the fight that Vegeta has with the thugs is over. The second time we see potato chips is when the fake Ginyu squad appears. They're eating potato chips, and then they go to the convenience store to get more potato chips. The third time we get potato chips is after Vegeta defeats the fake Ginyu squad, and then one of the Ginyu squad guys gives the potato chips that he had to Goku. And then we see Goku eating the potato chips as they're walking through King Gomah's palace. And then finally, at the end of episode 20, when Pansy and Glorio are taking Goku and the gang back to the outer realm, back to Earth, we have a quick shot of Pansy eating potato chips. Is there some secret meaning to potato chips in the demon realm? I have no idea. This seems intentional. Why is this a recurring gag? Do you have any theories? This might be the one that I'm most curious about. I'm wondering if this is some kind of special secret meaning that we will find out about later down the line, because why so many potato chips? And number 21, why does King Gomah look like a pride trooper? The out-of-universe explanation is that I guess they wanted to make an Easter egg or callback to the Tournament of Power and Jiden and all that because, well, King Gomah's body looks like a Pride Trooper, right? The head looks different, but the body looks like a Pride Trooper. And I do not like this because you've turned your big bad of Daima into nothing more than an Easter egg for Super, right? The last guy in Super, which, as I've said before, I think that Jiden is, he looks fine. He looks kind of cool. But he is one of the worst designs for a big bad of Dragon Ball, or for like a final opponent for Goku in a story arc. It's super plain, it's super forgettable, and for them to pick that design as the design for King Gomah was incredibly disappointing, just lacked creativity, totally lazy. Now, maybe there's an in-universe explanation. We don't know. I've seen people speculate that somehow King Gomah is going to connect to the Pride Troopers. I think that's a stupid idea. I don't get how that would work, but if they pull it off in a funny way, I guess that would be okay. But quite frankly, I just think they should leave it alone. It is what it is. It was just a coincidence. Don't talk about it. Let's brush it under the rug. But what do you think? Do you have any answers for the questions that I've posed? I know that there's many, many more unanswered questions, so leave them down below. If I get a lot, I might do a part 2. We'll see how the reaction is. But in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe because I've got more videos coming like this, and I'll see you in the next one.